Hello everyone, welcome again to Twin Talks Ballet. My name is Kirsten if you're brand new, and this is my dear friend Hannah Bettis.
Hi.
Who, well, actually we just filmed another video together talking about her career in ballet and her journey through this career and going through like winning competitions, achieving a lot. And we talked really specifically about what that was like, what were some triumphs and some struggles that she faced personally. So if you want to learn more about Hannah, I really encourage you to watch that video. But we're going to be talking in this video about what it has been like really for both of us, but I will be asking Hannah more questions about what it's been like to transition to a life outside of doing ballet really seriously and full time. Because I know from facing these fears of quitting myself and working with a lot of dancers who are just really afraid of the life beyond ballet, that fear of who am I beyond dance, and like can I find meaning and purpose, and can I be happy outside of just this narrow definition of what it means to be a dancer. That fear keeps a lot of people in dance for longer than maybe is right for them. So we're going to talk about what that transition has been like for both of us. Hey you guys, I just wanted to quickly pop into this video interview, which I really hope you're enjoying, to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is again so generously sponsored by BalletOK.com, who sells Zerly tights. And by the way, if you've been watching my recent videos and you've seen many of my sponsored clips for BalletOK.com, here's something I haven't mentioned yet, which is that if you buy Zerly tights through BalletOK.com, you can actually participate in their tights recycling program. So what that means is when you have enjoyed your Zerly tights to the maximum and they are kind of past their time, all you have to do is send back your tights to the BalletOK.com headquarters, and they are going to provide you a discount on a new pair. So you get to repurpose those old tights and reduce waste, which I hope you are interested in doing just like I am. But you're also going to get a new pair at a lower price. So in addition to getting a lower price when you turn in your old tights, I have a special discount code for all of you viewers out there. So if you want to click the link down below, I actually have several links, not only the link to where you could buy the tights, I have a discount code for you for $10 off your order. And I also have, if you want to learn more about Zerly tights, I have a review video that I made last year that goes very in depth to everything you need to know about Zerly tights. Thank you again, BalletOK.com, for sponsoring this video. And let's get back into the interview. Yeah, will you tell us a little bit more about yourself, just briefly? So
So my name is Hannah Bettis. I was formerly second soloist with Boston Ballet, and I retired a little over a year ago now. So, and I'm almost 24, so on the younger end, but yeah. So that's kind of
I retired at 24.
Yeah,
so, like,
there we go.
That's ballet for you, folks. But yeah, I'm really eager to get into this discussion because we've both really been through a lot of soul searching and growth. Yes. For me, I think it's been 2 years, a little over 2 years since I left the professional pursuit of ballet. And for you, you said it's been a little over a year now. Yeah, and there's been a lot of growth and a lot of challenges that we've both faced. Yes. So I'm eager to really get into talking about how we've sought healing and how we've navigated some of the common challenges that come up. So hopefully, if any of you guys are watching who are currently in that transition, you feel like people get you, we see you, we understand. Yes. And I hope that we have some decent insights to share to help you through your journey. And if you're in ballet right now, but you're wondering, should I continue? Maybe you're feeling that tension inside, like, is this right for me? Should I consider going in another direction with my career? If you're in that phase right now, I imagine a lot of stress and fears are coming up about the ambiguity of what life could be like on the other side. So hopefully this will kind of ease those fears a little bit and show you that no matter if you continue or you decide to take a break or even stop indefinitely, like, you can find not only healing, but joy and purpose in a life beyond, ballet. So we're just gonna hit the ground running.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
And I'll ask you, what ultimately led you to leave ballet behind?
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, I love dance, grew up dancing. When I first started, didn't think it was going to turn into a career. Obviously, when I was 12, it did. And then I started training full time. There's a lot of stress that came and pressures that came from competing and then joining a company. And then just like the roles I was given. I like, even now, like I still love dance.
Yeah.
I just don't know if being like a professional was right for me.
It's a lot of stress,
a lot of pressure. I mean, 6 days a week you're working, and then even when you're not working, you're still ballet brain.
You're
still
turned doing on. Things for the rest of your week.
It's a lifestyle.
It is.
And so I guess what ultimately led to it was just I had unhealthy coping with the stress and the pressures that came along with being a professional. And I actually ended up I came to Jesus and I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm stressed out all the time. I have so much pressure. It felt like so much burden just on me all the time.
Yeah.
And I felt like this, I needed to be performing constantly. I had to be the best. I had to do this. I had to do that. I had to be everything that I felt like I wasn't. And when I came to faith, I had that moment where I was like, all right, I have choice. I have the freedom. I don't have to do this. I don't have to put myself through this if I don't want to. So I ultimately felt that I had a lot of healing in my own life that I needed to do, and I couldn't continue that process in the environment I was in.
Yeah, and that's a lot of wisdom to have that awareness that so many of us, you know, we see a need for healing in ourselves and in our lives, but we're afraid to leave the context that is familiar to us. But you had this moment of just being very emboldened through your faith. And we both share faith in Christ. Like we're both Christians, and that's part of what makes our friendship special. And so I've been really inspired to watch you walk out your faith and to, you know, seek healing through your faith. But it's really hard to leave that familiarity behind for the sake of like
it
really
was everything
healing.
I knew.
Everything you knew, and
all I ever
who
did.
you were too, and
so
like
much
your sense of identity. That's really normal. A lot of dancers relate to that.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's easy to make it part of who you are when it's everything you do. Like I said, it's
everything
a lifestyle.
It's how people identify you, and it's like where many
everywhere
dancers
you go,
get their purpose.
Dancer.
Yeah, totally. And when it's like you see yourself for what you do, you value yourself for what you achieve in ballet, and then other people see you for that too. That can be so hard. And so it's really, I think, very courageous of you to say, like, I've got to give this other life a chance. Like, this isn't working.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I decided to walk away from it. I mean, I walked away from everything mid-season too. I had that moment. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to go figure out who I am apart from all of this.
I did that too. You know what? Mid-season, although like partially my body also just wasn't working anymore. It was not going to happen. But I did have this moment where I realized I was about to be really psycho and be like, no, I can handle it. I can dance on a broken leg. Like just more pain medication. I think I can make it work. But, you know, just ultimately having that reality check that it actually wasn't worth it anymore to keep struggling. And I kind of saw my desire to stay for what it was. And it was just out of fear of the unknown, fear of life being meaningless outside of ballet, fear that I wouldn't have the same joy and fulfillment anymore just because I was so used to finding that joy from ballet. But ultimately, I think when we've both given ourselves a chance to just see what else is out there for us, like God comes through.
Yes, he does.
Before you did make the decision to leave, what fears or worries did you have about making the leap?
My biggest fear was that I wasn't going to find anything that was as fulfilling as ballet. And also that I wasn't going to be able to make any money. My biggest concern was that I was going to be poor and on the street and homeless.
Which is unique for you because
most dancers, it's the opposite. Make no money. I made very good money at Boston Ballet.
We laughed so hard the other week. I did. Because you were like, I almost considered going back into ballet for the money. I was like, wait.
That makes no sense. I know. I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I like Boston Ballet. It takes very good care of their dancers.
Good.
They do. They're
Praise
awesome.
God.
Yeah,
Some
seriously. Yeah, no, they're awesome to their dancers. Like, the reason I left wasn't because of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think my biggest fear was that I wasn't gonna be able to make any money.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to. I honestly was afraid I was going to be able to connect with normal people. Like, I know I don't know if that's normal, but I was worried. I mean, of course, I had like a few people outside ballet who I talked to and spoke with, but I never like really was close with those friends. My best friends were always in dance and around dance and understood what it was that I did. So the idea that I was going to walk away from like my community too, I was like, I'm never going to connect with anyone the way I did with a ballet dancer. And that's also not true.
Yeah, but that's such a real concern.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest fears, is that I wasn't going to have community, I wasn't going to have a home, and I wasn't going to find something to fulfill me.
Yes, I relate to that a lot. Not knowing who I was outside of ballet was a big concern, and it was just freaky to know that I was going to figure it out eventually. I just thought, man, my life has been so uncomfortable up to this point. Yeah. I'm really sick of all this discomfort, and I don't really want to willingly go into more of that uncertainty, but it was ultimately worth it. And then also like with the community thing, that is so valid. And the way I ended up coping with that is, even though I was still kind of injured, I was able to arrange with my company that I was able to still take class every week or twice a week. And so it kind of kept me with those friends. But it was hard. You know, there was social isolation for sure. So it was like I had to be really intentional about investing in relationships. Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I've realized on the outside, is that like I don't get to just like go into a room of people every day and just like naturally have this bond, like this unspoken bond with everyone in the room. Honestly, I still miss that. Make an effort. You have to work at it, because I think we forget how insular dance is. Like you are with people for a whole season, if not multiple seasons, and you're with them all the time. You have common bonding experiences that are unusual, like unusual bonding experiences that you don't usually have out in the world. Yeah, like so few normal friendships kind of have these regular bonding experiences where you know that you have inside jokes, you have similar experiences that very few people have had. Normally, like when you're connecting with other friends, you can have meaningful discussions, but it's like, oh, we just go to church together, or we just go out to dinner together, and it's not like, oh, remember that one time we went out to dinner? You know? Whereas for dancers, it's like, oh my gosh, remember that one time where so-and-so, like, I don't know, fell into the orchestra pit? We're talking about that happening to somebody, but, you know, just weird things that we laugh about. Yeah. Not to say you can't find it, but it's just interesting to note that difference in what brings people together. Yeah, it is so different. I mean, I've been really grateful for the community around me. And actually, like, you're my only dancer friend now. Oh my gosh! It was like, like my only dancer friend who's like professional ballet. Like, I have a few other friends who were dancers, but never were professional ballet dancers. So and it's very different. Like, very different. But so I'm grateful that we can connect on that. But not just ballet. That's what's cool. Yeah, that is what's cool. Like, we connect on a lot of different levels too. Thankfully. I'd like to ask you about how your sense of identity has changed. And I know, like, this is always a work in progress. For sure. But like, how did your relationship with yourself and who you think you are change over the last year? I think when I was in ballet, I mean, ballet was everything that I was. And I heard this thing once, and it was basically like, if you base everything you are on the praises of men, you'll also accept their criticism and take that as your own too. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's a word. Right? I was like, wow, that like hit me, because I think that was so much what I did in dance. Is that like I based who I was on the people who told me how good I was, or the people who, the roles I received, or the way I performed I was as good as my last performance. I was this and that. And I think that then when the criticism came with it too, because that's something that's so prevalent in dance, like everything is criticism. You're constantly being corrected and needing to work towards, and people, there's a lot of ego, and there's a lot of stuff that people combat. And I think that was something that I was also taking on board all the time. So like, I always thought I wasn't good enough. I always thought I was stupid. I always thought like there was this or that, or so whenever I finally walked away from it, and I realized like, no, I have a brain. Like, I'm actually smart. Like, I can
do life.
Wow.
And like, I can do things for myself, and like, I
Yes.
can be an organized individual. I can manage my time. I can persevere and work hard, and I have a good work ethic, and like all those things that I learned in dance that I never actually realized that I learned from dance until after the fact. And so now, like, walking in my new identity, I'm still like learning all the time, more and more, obviously, just about like the different traits that I do have and the things that I am good at and am skilled at, and like.
Because it's not like people are like, oh, Hannah, when you're a ballet dancer, you are a woman of such integrity.
Yeah, no, you never hear that.
Or you really have a gift for encouraging people.
Yeah,
no one
don't hear that.
Cares. It's just like, was your foot pointed? Great.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you're a piece of trash.
Literally how dance works.
And it also, like, what you said reminds me of, like, an adjustment that all dancers have to go through when you leave the life of pursuing it professionally. When you're trying to be a dancer, you have to hold yourself to such a high standard of intelligence, perseverance, strength, technique, just everything, every trait that you use in ballet. Almost you have to constantly be reaching for a nearly unreachable standard in order to motivate yourself to be good enough and to be competitive enough. And so it sounds like our experiences are similar. When we both left ballet, you have to go through this adjustment period of recognizing the measuring stick you used to hold yourself to and almost figuring out a new way of assessing if you're doing well. Because it is important to have that check inside of yourself, that internal check system of, okay, am I living up to my potential today? Well, maybe before living up to your potential was like, am I, well, to be honest, like extremely underweight?
Yeah.
Am I remembering every single piece of choreography, which is like so hard? Did I make any mistakes today? It's almost like any mistake is nearly unacceptable in dance, even though, you know, you have to eventually learn to accept that mistakes happen. And so we're always holding ourselves to such a high standard. And then it's weird to figure out, okay, what is my new standard for how I check if I'm doing all right? Because it's going to be
all internal. Yeah.
You know? Like, hopefully, goodness gracious.
I'm like, did I get out of bed today? Yes, I did. Yes. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's a little higher standard than that.
But, you know, in like getting more realistic standards does allow you to have an appropriate level of self-respect.
Yes.
I should hope.
Yes.
Because as dancers, like, it's so easy to have no self-respect because your standards are just crazy high.
Yeah, the standards are definitely different. And like now, like, kind of like the season that I'm in, I feel like I'm like, I had to learn how to relax. Like when I first walked away from ballet, like my biggest thing was like learning to rest and like not everything is the end of the world. And like, I don't have to be perfect. Like that was the biggest thing. And so now it's been almost a year and like I'm navigating that. And so now I'm kind of entering this next season of my life where I'm wanting to push myself and like into new things and try new things and build new skills and figure out like what I want to do next. Cause like, I mean, I've been teaching dance and that's been very rewarding, but like, is that what I want to do? Is there more? And it's those kind of questions that are now coming up.
Let's get into the dirt.
All right, here we go.
More dirt.
Let's do it.
How did your relationship with your body change?
I think that was the biggest change, biggest adjustment that I went through. I had a I mean, as a ballet dancer, we stare at ourselves in the mirror 12 hours a day. I mean, that can't breed any kind of healthy relationship with your body. You know everything that is wrong with it, every part of it that you don't like. It's like, and then you also have like this unrealistic standard, like we were talking about, of what you should be and whatever you think everyone else wants you to be.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest thing that I had to embrace is that like, I'm beautiful. Like I'm beautiful and I can love my body and that's not something that's frowned upon. Like it's okay for me to be okay with the way that I look. Because that's something as a dancer, like you're never allowed to like the way you look. Like I feel like this unspoken rule that like you always have to be disappointed in the way you look. You always have to be disappointed in the way your body is shaped.
Oh my gosh, I've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
It's like if anyone says something nice about themselves, everyone's like, oh, you prideful woman.
Yeah. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's okay to think you're beautiful, and it's okay to be okay with yourself.
In fact, healthy.
It's very healthy.
You know, because like especially as Christians, we believe that our bodies are a gift. Like God has made us in His image, and it's a beautiful thing to thank the good Lord for what He has given you, and like even the ability to dance and any beauty that you might have. Like we're called to appreciate that out of gratitude and praise. And so it's like I started challenging that perspective in myself when I was a dancer, just thinking like, how wrong is it of me to basically be given this gift of a body that functions well and is able to dance, and I'm just hating on it all the time? It's like receiving a gift and then being like, it's not good enough.
Yeah, it literally is, like stomping on it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think that that's something that's like been the biggest change for me is being okay with the way that I look. Yeah. And like even with, I mean, obviously, like when you stop dancing, you stop working out. Not totally, well, as much as you were,
like all day.
You go from working out all day to like maybe when I get to the gym, like
sometimes
it's an adjustment. And so like I mean, I put on weight, and so that was something that in the beginning was like, oh man, like is this bad? I was really
scared of it.
Yeah, I was really scared of it too, and then it was something that I actually learned to be like, this is okay.
Yes,
like. Yeah. It's okay. I'm also not, I'm not obese. Like, I'm not by any means fat even. Like, it's, and even if I was, I'd still be beautiful, and that's okay, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, just like learning to navigate that and being okay with like right where you're at. You know?
It took an adjustment for me to actually start to have positive associations even with having a full stomach after a meal. Like, I would have to sit there and be like, this means I'm satisfying myself. This means I'm being kind to myself. I'm fueling myself. It took me a long time to start to switch the meaning I was making out of changes in my body, to the point where now I'm like, okay, I've even learned about having thyroid issues I didn't know I had, hormonal imbalances I didn't know I had. And so part of healing has been gaining weight and learning to say to myself, look, I can have a normal functioning body now because of this weight gain, and I'm grateful for it. Even though I definitely have days where I'm like, okay, I'm tempted to go to the gym more than I should because I label a change as bad. So it's a constant process of like challenging that old notion or that old mindset out of myself. And it hasn't gone slowly or quickly, but yeah, it's going to probably be a while before I'm like, well, I'll probably never be perfect in it, but more accepting and more grateful for the body I do have.
Yeah.
So what were some enjoyable aspects of your career in ballet that you've actually learned to incorporate into your life now, kind of in new ways?
Okay. Oh, that's the hard one.
For me, I realized that one aspect of being a dancer that was actually really compatible with my personality is being in a group setting and being like a team player.
Yeah.
And even though so many of my other gifts and talents are being used in my career now, one thing that is not really being fulfilled is my extroversion and my team player nature, because I work on my own mostly, and I do teach ballet, but I'm like an authority figure and not a team player. So I've actually noticed that, you know, not having that fulfilled was not really healthy for me, or it was just, I wanted to find a way to fulfill that again. So I started volunteering with my church more and getting plugged in as like in group settings, or kind of like I've thought about starting a book club, or just having something where I have a lot of peers around me and we're able to be like collaborators and just friends, kind of on an equal level, sharing an experience rather than just me working one-on-one with somebody or sharing one-on-one time. Like I've tried to look for more group opportunities because I miss it.
I kind of had the opposite experience.
Oh, really?
I left them because I always thought I was an introvert. I always thought didn't like people, were charged alone, whatever. But then after not being in an environment that was community, I really realized this past year, like I'm 100% an extrovert. Like really? I like need people in my life close to me. But I took advantage of it when I was in it, because I was like, I can't get rid of people. Like, they're always here. And then now that I'm away from it, I'm like, where all my people go? Where are my people at? But yeah, I think that there's been a few things that I've been able to incorporate in my life, I think, from dance, definitely. I mean, just like the discipline. I mean, I realize I'm definitely a structured person. I like having a schedule. I like having like a plan for the day. And I like being organized in that way. And so that's something that I think I've carried over from dance into my life now.
It's good to see kind of like the separation of, well, that is just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And these are the aspects of ballet that I actually really liked and I want to hold on to it. So it's kind of fun actually to transition away from ballet and see like, oh, okay, since I have more autonomy in my life now, because like quite frankly, that's like a beautiful thing about leaving dance. You have more of the ability to choose your lifestyle generally, because ballet is very much kind of like a fixed lifestyle that you have set out for yourself. So it's fun to be like, I liked this, I didn't like that, or that wasn't healthy for me. And kind of just create your life a little bit more.
Yeah, it's fun. Nice. It is fun. It is fun. And I think that that's something that, another thing that I like about ballet is that like, it kind of, you can do any other styles too with ballet. So you can kind of like transition easily if you do still like people who don't necessarily want to be a ballet dancer but still want to dance. It's easier, I think. In my head, I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I don't know. We're going to hip hop class later, so who knows? We could have a second wind of a career. On the opposite end of the spectrum, though, like, what are some aspects of the ballet lifestyle and even the mindset of being a dancer that you're actually really glad that you're away from now?
So back to like the whole group thing. Yeah. I think obviously I like having community. I realize that I'm an extrovert, but I think the reason why in those environments I felt like I didn't want to be around people was because that familiarity breeds contempt, and like you're so familiar with everyone around you, and everyone, if one person gets negative, the whole group gets negative. And then so that was something that I was constantly exhausted by that I don't miss.
There's a lot of group think.
There's a lot of group
think.
It's
kind of freaky.
Like as soon as one person in the company is miserable, everyone else is miserable.
Like one person's mood can change the room.
The whole atmosphere of the room.
Like and we all know that one dancer who's like, I'm going to make sure everybody knows I'm having a hard day. And then other people, since like psychologically y'all are in rapport, you match the person with the strongest energy. And it's not always great.
No. And so that's something that I'm like really grateful to be away from. And like one of the things that I don't miss. Is being a part of that group thing, because I think that actually really impacted the way I perceived myself, my life, everything.
For me, I think right now most grateful that I'm away from just this constant mindset of necessity and obligation. You know, you can hear it in people's language. I have to do this. I should do this. I need to do this. And like finally getting outside of that ballet box where you realize you can healthily question your preconceived notions. Do I really have to work out for 2 hours a day when you're not a dancer? No. Do you really have to work on XYZ thing in yourself? Do you really have to, like, even there have been times where I've questioned, do I need to be working so hard in my life right now? Because like you mentioned, the season of rest being a really just healing time for you. I realized that I was kind of being called into healing in that way too, because I was overly identifying with my previous work ethic. And so having the freedom to choose to say like, okay, I am my own boss right now. So I can choose to lean into that area of growth right now. And I don't have to say, oh, I have to arbitrarily work 8 to 10 hours a day, because ultimately that is arbitrary.
I remember one time a friend like told me, she was like, dance is so interesting because like it's the only time like you have no choice. It's like, what? And she was like, yeah, when you go on stage, it's not like you can just decide while you're on stage, I'm going to walk off right now and just leave.
My gosh, it's so true.
And I realize more and more, like the more friends that aren't dancers, I realize, I mean, that's like a common thing you can do anywhere. You can just walk away from anything, apparently. And so that was something I
still don't get it.
I don't really get it either. Because that's something that I'm like, I am grateful to dance for teaching me. Like, you should persevere and stick it out and like not just walk away when you feel like it.
I'm almost interested in trying out the whole like just don't show up if you don't want to. Like, I am 2
When
years out of
people say
dance,
that,
I
I'm
still
like,
can't do it.
I can't do that.
I
either.
can't.
I
Like,
can't do that.
I don't care if I am so tired on a Saturday night. I will be at your birthday party.
Yeah, you're like, I will make it a
I
point.
have to. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
You know? But I actually have one of my best friends in Austin. I love being around her because she is so good at actually having healthy boundaries while still respecting people. Because I think right now it's very trendy to be like, oh, spending time with you doesn't serve me. But she does it in like a super respectful, loving way. She'll, let people know, hey, I'm having a day. I'm not going to be able to come. Let's have another time together. And so that's been like really healthy for me to see that balance, and I'm interested to grow more in that area because that notion of like, well, obviously I have to do this. That's like it's still really strong in me. I'm really eager to ask you more about it, kind of like speaking for a lot of dancers that are super fearful of all of their training and all of their experience going to waste if they were to step away from dance. Like there's this very common notion that if you don't make it as a professional, or if you were to quit at any point, everything that you poured into that pursuit is a waste. And so for you, do you have any particular insights or like encouragement to share with dancers about, challenging that notion?
Yeah. I think a lot of the skills that you learn in dance do transfer over.
Yes.
So it's not a waste. Like, it's not a waste. And it's so easy to think that because dance is so specific.
It is.
But everything you learn through it is not specific. I mean, it obviously is specific, but it's not just for that. It does go into other professions and other things that you decide to pursue. So I don't think that's
I don't think it's a waste at all. And then the other thing is, like, I've actually spoken to plenty of parents before that are concerned about supporting their dancer through the pursuit of a career because they're like, tangibly, I don't see how this is a good investment. But I like to kind of flip that and say, what does it cost your child to have this dream and this vision and this potential they want to fulfill, and to not do that? What is it actually costing them to participate in another education or pursuit of another career that doesn't feel like them? Because I've seen many times dancers like myself, I literally was able to dance for a season and a half before it was over.
Yeah.
But that being said, just because I was in a company doesn't mean it was that different from when I was in college as a dancer or in my training. And I was so grateful that my parents allowed me to just see that dream through, because I felt like I got to see who I really am. And otherwise, I know that if I had just been kind of stifled and my parents didn't support me, I would be thinking and regretting my whole life, like, what could have happened? Who could I have been if I had just pursued that? And then I've seen this in a lot of dancers that don't get that support. Like, they end up being rebellious later because that desire was not fulfilled. So I say, like, see your dream through if possible. I know that's a privilege. I totally get that. And I'm super grateful to have had that privilege in life. But like, if your family is in a position to support you through just exploring this dream, it will not be a waste. Although I say get an education, because like,
definitely get an education.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket though.
I made that mistake. So I put all my eggs in that basket, and I mean,
you still turned out okay though.
I turned okay. That's the thing, is that like I did put all my eggs in that basket. I honestly I just stopped doing school. Like when I was in high school, like I didn't get my degree. I just kind of stopped everything. And then I got into the company of Boston Ballet, and then my first season I started to question, like, is this really what I want? And when I started questioning that, I was like, I'm stupid. Like, I don't actually have an education. And then I got my GED. I ended up getting into Northeastern University's College of Professional Studies. I started taking college classes. I became like super like, I'm going to be smart.
There you go.
And so then I think that also helped me, though. 5 years later, be more comfortable walking away. And then even now, like, I still love dance, and I know much more about dance than I do about other things still. Because I mean, you spend so much of your life doing it.
Right.
And I did put all my eggs in one basket, and I'm okay, and I'm probably going to go back to school. And it's like, so, that fear, I think, is
I love challenging the notion that there's like this conveyor belt that people think your life should go down.
Yeah.
You do high school, you go to college, you have a career, and it all needs to go in one line. And if you get off the conveyor belt, you are screwed. But here's the thing. I did all the things to have a backup plan that I thought I was supposed to do. I thought I was going to have a career in finance after ballet was over. I thought I set myself up to get a master's in finance. Am I doing that now? So ironically, at the point when a backup plan would have actually come in handy, despite having the education, all the potential, some professional connections, that didn't come in handy. Yeah. I actually realized at that point, you know what? I don't actually want to do finance. And I think something else is in order. And so like, it's just funny. I had the degree, I had all the stuff, but when I actually would have benefited from having just a nice little backup plan, it's not like I had a job on Wall Street knocking on my door. Like, I still felt like I was starting over from scratch. Yeah. So it's like, you can like play all your cards right, but ultimately none of us can escape that challenging, uncertain times happen in life.
Yeah. I mean, I fully thought I was gonna just dance forever, and I literally put all my eggs in the basket. I'm just doing just fine, not dancing.
We're fine. And I found another career.
It's going great.
Finishing out this discussion, what advice or encouragement do you have for dancers that are contemplating if they should, move on from ballet or not, but maybe they're scared?
Yeah. My advice would be, if you really feel like it's time to go, to do it. I mean, and be relieved that even if you don't have a plan, even if you don't know what comes next, even if you have no idea who you are outside of ballet, if you just step out in that faith, you will figure it out. You will find your way. It's not... There's a lot more lost people than you think there are.
Oh my gosh.
No one in the real world actually has a clue what they're doing is also something that I've learned. And that
even if they have a job.
Even if they have a job and have a great career. No. Even like having that like security of a career or job, it still doesn't actually give you purpose, I feel like.
Right.
So,
and neither does a paycheck.
No. So I think that if you're contemplating it and you really do feel like you do want to walk away, like this is something you've been thinking about for a long time, not just like, of course, everyone has those days where they're like, I want to quit now, but they don't actually want to. But like for me personally, from my first season, I felt it was wrong. And I continued for 5 years going up and down with that battle. So then that's why in my 5th season, I finally was like, all right, I can't. It's time. Regardless of the fear, regardless of this, regardless of that, I'm leaving. And it's the best thing I ever did. And I think the other thing is that especially if you're young, like if you walk away for a year and you decide later on, like you want to go back, like you can.
Yes.
And there's so many other avenues, especially in today's world for dance and ballet dancers. I mean, there's tons of people I can think of who don't work for professional companies, but are still ballet dancers.
Yep.
So they're still doing ballet and still making careers, but it just doesn't look the way it always has. So, I mean, I think that there's like those fears of leaving. I be encouraged that you can do anything with your life, especially if you have really those skills as a ballet dancer. You really have a lot of options.
Don't be afraid of getting creative. And actually there can be so much more fulfillment in creating your own unique path and following your heart in that way, rather than just relying on the predictability of like, oh, if I'm in a company, then I can reasonably expect this, and I think it would give me this amount of purpose. It would make me feel like this kind of person. Like, I think a lot of us are drawn to the certainty of being able to see other people's paths and thinking, if I just follow that, then I can expect this out of life. But maybe it's not really for you. And so lean into that uncertainty and recognize that even if you have that illusion of control in your life, thinking, okay, I can reasonably expect what is going to happen tomorrow, none of us really know.
No.
And so if it's on your heart to take that leap and to stop dancing or to just take a break, realize that first, if you take a break, you can get it back.
Yes.
And uncertainty and leaning into that can actually show you and teach you and give you so much. So just take one step at a time. I think that's a good note to end on.
That is a good note to end on.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah. This has been a long video, but I'm so grateful for the wisdom that you shared, and I really hope that it encourages a lot of you wonderful dancers out there, and ex-dancers, if you're also like in that space that we're in.
Yeah.
You know? Or recreational dancers, yeah.
Recreational, I like that.
Yeah, that's like a better way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yep.
Bye.